Hey everybody, welcome to our final HyperDoc Hangout live on air. Lisa and I are here together. Sarah's joining us, and we have two special guests who are going to be sharing their HyperDoc final HyperDoc Hangout live on air. Lisa and I are here together. Sarah's joining us, and in just a moment. We're going to be welcome to our final HyperDoc Hangout live on air. Lisa and I are here together. Hear me the first time. Moment. We're going to be welcome to our final HyperDoc Hangout live on air. Lisa and I are here together. Hear me the first moment. We're going to be welcome to our final HyperDoc Hangout live on air. Lisa and I are here together. Hear me the first moment. We're going to be welcome to our final HyperDoc Hangout live on air. Lisa and I are here together. Our guests might be playing it because I have everything. Oh, yep. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Mary, we had to mute you because I think you have the one of the tabs open with our with the actual video. So no worries. This has happened to us how many times? Oh yeah, that's our one time like on a huge Google Summit virtual event, and that was really fun for the three of us to try to figure out. So we've actually learned that from that. So anyways, here, little fun tip: if you ever do a live Google Hangout on air, you have your window, and then the one that you launched from, you have to close out because otherwise you'll be hearing yourself over and over again like we just did. Anyways, it's week 4 of this amazing cohort number 9 times that we've done this. And today I have two amazing guests with us, and we're hoping that one more joins us. We have Joanna and Mary, and I'm going to introduce them in a couple of minutes, because before they start sharing with us their incredible HyperDoc designs and how they've delivered them in their classroom, we're going to go through a little overview and logistics for week 4. So you can follow along in the shared presentation slides, and Sarah and Lisa will make sure those are in the chat. I'm sure they already have. Just posted. They're so good. It's like they're so organized. So we have that. And I'm just going to go through the first couple slides and explain what we're sharing today. Actually, Sarah, do you want to talk about the debrief of chapter 4? Usually talk about this, or I can take over. Just give me one way or another, Sarah.
I'm here. If you can drive, I will talk. I don't have my slides open, but we love to end chapter 4 with this whole idea of circling back to our students. We launched our book with this beautiful foreword written by a high school student, and so we wanted to end kind of circling back around to our kids. Like, why are we even doing all this work? So we found this article. Kelly will open the article for us. It's really a beautifully written article because it's written in the voice of the students. So they ask students, hey, what do you want from teachers? What do you want from your learning experience? And the kids actually speak out. And so the whole article is basically their direct quotes. And they've taken their comments and feedback and kind of structured it in these top, I think it's 9 or 10 ways that kids are saying, hey, this is how you can engage us. So, working with peers and working with technology and connecting the real world to the work that we do and this for our learning, and so on and so on. And I think the last thing is just like being human. Just, remember to have fun and be human and recognize that, it's okay. We're just real humans sitting in your classrooms. And so we loved this article, and this really spoke to us. And so we kind of sat down and said, hey, like, do HyperDocs do any of these things? If this is what kids say that they want, is it possible that we could use HyperDocs as a solution to these things? And so we went ahead and went through each of those items and just looked at each of these with the HyperDoc lens. And that's what you're looking at here. It's this chart of like, this is what the kids want, and here's how HyperDocs can be a solution for that particular thing. Girls, I'll let you take it from here.
Awesome. So basically, after looking at that amazing article, we also found another one that said 9 ways to plan transformational lessons the best curriculum unit ever, and that's linked here. But we noticed the connection between what kids want and what HyperDocs provide. So they want opportunities for work with peers. We shift from solo to collaborative lesson design. That's what we're doing. That's what we're talking about today. Every time we lead this HyperDoc online cohort camp class that we do, we learn from you. And today we get to hear your voices sharing, and we will continue to hear your voices through our digital collaboration. Students want to work with technology. We provide opportunities with thoughtful technology integration with HyperDocs. Students want work that connects them to the real world. We can do that with HyperDocs so easily. So all of those are outlined there for you to look through yourself. But that is sort of our conclusion to why and how we're bringing all of this together in chapter 4. The next thing I want to just highlight for you is chapter 4 is really about Teachers Give Teachers. Lisa, did you want to talk about this, or do you want me to review Teachers Give Teachers? I have the screen share open.
So this all started because a lot of teachers were saying, you know, HyperDocs are great, but this takes a lot of time. How do I do this? How do I make this happen? And so what we thought was, what if we got a bunch of teachers collaborating together in order to, you know, make the work easier, where we can connect and collaborate together. And we thought, well, let's just try it. So we started on Twitter with @TSGiveTS. I know it's a little snarky to some other company, and I'm not against if you want to, you know, do some fundraisers with that other company. But, you know, we just thought we'd word of mouth, let's spread this around. I was just on there this weekend, you guys. We have over 10,000 followers on there who are sharing HyperDocs all the time. It got so big that we ended up having to make a website, teachersgiveteachers.net, where it's a searchable database, because people were putting things on there and it was really hard to scroll for so long to see the good lessons that people were sharing. So if you go to Teachers Give Teachers, our motto is to give one or take one. All you have to do is register, so we know that you're not a fake site. And then you can search by tags, you know, and if you do want to upload your HyperDoc, which we'd really love, tag it with everything that people might want to search for, it by grade level, by subject, by any web tools you might be using, anything you can think of that you are reaching people. People will search for your lesson. And if you like them, you can go to File, make a copy, and then just edit it for your own. That's a really good opportunity to collaborate with teachers all over the world. So we're so excited to see this growing. It's an amazing, amazing use of technology, I think.
Yeah, you know, I just want to add on to this. Just today, my friends, the coolest thing happened. I was coaching a teacher. She's a first-year teacher, 6th grade, brand new out of her credentialing program. And I showed up today and she said, so my administrator's coming in for an evaluation tomorrow, and I found a HyperDoc that I want to teach for my lesson tomorrow. And I was like, that's so exciting. She went on to Teachers Give Teachers. She found this really cool HyperDoc on using evidence to support your thinking text evidence, to cite your sources. And this one teacher had made it into a game, so how to level up. And there's all these videos linked up and a challenge built in, all of the necessary parts of the 4 C's included. We talked it through together, and tomorrow she's gonna try it out. So it's super exciting. Great place to go to just find resources, teachersgiveteachers.net or Teachers Give Teachers on Twitter. So let's get to our real life, HyperDoc Heroes Share Fest for today. I'm gonna screen share this first slide because these amazing presenters had taken the time to design on this slide and share about their life and what they're going to be sharing with you. So we have Mary here. I love the picture. Mary, it says, working on an NOAA ship out of Dutch Harbor in the Bering Sea. She included this really fun picture. She is a technology coach now, but a former 5th grade teacher. Woohoo, right, Mary?
Yeah.
That's what we've done too. Yeah. And she also included a great picture of herself and her son at a Minnesota Vikings game. And Mary is in Delaware, and she is going to share with us her HyperDoc on the growth mindset at a book club, week 1. So Mary, take it away. Welcome.
Okay, thanks. I just lost the slide.
Do you want to? I can do it from here, or you can go ahead and screen share when you're ready.
That's fine. That's fine.
Either way works.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm excited to be here. So we're doing a 8-week book club, and Kathy Schreiber should be. She's probably watching this right now too. She's in this course, and Lena Hall is a participant in the course, the book club that we're doing too. So that's exciting. But just wanted a way to show. Learn about the growth mindset versus fixed mindset, but also integrate technology, and the HyperDocs is a great way to do it. So I'll share the document. So it's nothing fancy. I just took the same template that you guys provided us and added the pictures and the tasks. So the Explore feature is more like flipping it. So before they come, they're to watch the video that I attached, which is on fixed versus growth mindset. And then we use Schoology as our learning management system for our whole state of Delaware. So after that, then they're going to post a thoughtful response to the question. Do you agree or disagree that everyone has the ability to learn even with differentiated intelligence levels? And then what experience have led you to feel that way? So kind of get the conversation going before they meet for our book club meeting. And then during the explain part, which is our first face-to-face meeting, I'm going to present the Google Slides presentation, which is not complete. You know, it's going to be an ongoing process. And then we're going to go over all the overview of the book club. We're going to have them create their own norms. And then they're going to participate in this task. And that is just to kind of sort the different mindsets into their appropriate category. So if we click on it, I'm pretty sure I linked it. Yeah. You go into it. It's just a Google draw activity. And these questions are right from the book. So over here on the side, they can just take and they can drag and they can put the comment right in the side that needs. So the parent's driving me crazy. He wants a progress update every day. That would be probably a teacher with a fixed mindset, and that would go in the fixed mindset column. That's all they have to do.
So really, this is directly from the book, but you created it on the HyperDoc as more of an interactive activity for the teacher.
Yeah, so in the book, they just have a page. It has the fixed mindset and the growth mindset and all the tabs. So I just created this as a page.
Love it.
And then what I did for the teacher so they could take something back with them was I created one that from the book again that had like more kid-friendly terms so that the kids could do this activity. And I made that an optional. I didn't attach it as a link because we just added it last minute, but it is there. And then, oops, sorry. Gonna find out where I am. All right. Okay. And then so that's pretty much the first book club meeting day. And then they have the digital week, you know, the virtual week. And their assignments to read we already went over chapter 1 during our face-to-face. So we hand out of the books. They read chapters 2, 3, and 4. It's a very quick read book, and it's got a lot of great ideas. And then once they've done that, they're going to create an infographic or a sketch note. And the infographic and sketch note links here actually provide them, kind of give them some information about what is an infographic, what is a sketch note, on the strategies to help students learn and implement a growth mindset. And then I gave them some choice. So they can do the traditional paper pencil way, but if they do that way, they need to take a picture of it and then they submit it in Schoology, on a Padlet. Sorry, Schoology's on my brain. They submit it in a Padlet so that everybody can see, or they can do it digitally and they can choose to use Google Draw, S'more, which is a nice graphic organizer, digital infographic, or they might have other activities like Pictograph or another form that they already use and liked in order to manipulate into an infographic or a sketch note. So it's not a lot, it's simple, but it's we only have an hour for our face-to-face meet, and then it's only an hour worth of work for the digital virtual, because I'm trying not to give them too much. I want it to be fun too.
This is so amazing. So you've taken the Explore, Explain, Apply template, and you've created a professional development for, is this for the entire staff or is it an optional?
It's optional. They sign up. So whoever, we have almost 40 teachers signed up.
So great.
It's half of them are elementary and half are secondary, so it's exciting.
So this first task, when they go into Schoology, they post their responses, and that's like a norm that works for your district. But anybody could change that out if they made a copy of this to another tool. Is there a tool that you would recommend that does the same thing that Schoology does for this portion on your HyperDoc?
Well, if you have Google Classroom, you can do it through Google Classroom. You could do it through any of your learning management systems that has a discussion board. The only other thing maybe is a Padlet. Maybe they could, do it on a Padlet and then respond in that nature. If you
ever another Google Doc, even where it's just
the
link and edit, and they can put on it or something.
Yeah, that anything that that people can respond to or reply. For us, Schoology is just very easy because our whole state does it, and they have the discussion board right there. So. But I believe the other learning management systems have something similar. It used to be when I was in the classroom, we used Kids Blog. Do you remember that?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then they started charging for it. And so it's like, well, since we already have this feature, we're going to start using it in that platform.
Okay, that makes sense. That's great. Yeah, I used to like Kid Blog too, but whenever things go from free to not free, then they get off my tool list.
Me too.
So then when you moved to your explanation, you had a nice slide presentation, and you even noted this is the part where HyperDocs are a live document, because you noted on here, I will continue to update this as the 8 weeks progress. So you can keep coming back here and really talking about the main points of the book. Is that what you mean for the purpose of this?
Yes, yeah, just for the slides presentation part of it. Yeah. And then we can work on a HyperDoc for the next face-to-face. There's only 4 face-to-face meets. Perfect. So we can do a HyperDoc for each face-to-face meet.
I love it. And then you already shared your interactive activity on the Google Drawing. I can think of so many applications of this as a classroom teacher. I'm wondering if any of our viewers might have any ideas as well. How might you take the pedagogy of designing on a Google Drawing site with like how we have here, and then the moving of the sentences? So if you have any ideas for that, go ahead and put that in the chat to add to our conversation. The other thing I wanted to just highlight is that I'm noticing at the bottom here, and if you don't mind, I'm going to take over the screen for a quick second. Sure. At the bottom, when you have your application, so you have the mindset coach and you have some visuals, but then you're actually having the teachers create. They're applying. They're creating an infographic or a sketch note using a tool of their choice. So right here you have on the word infographic, I'm assuming you strategically linked up this website so that people could understand what an infographic is and also get ideas before they create their own, which is a great strategy. And then I like to call this like the meta coach, when you're creating an experience where you're asking them to do something and implement the technology in the same way that we want them to use this in their classrooms as well. And so that's how we really shift classroom practices on a school site, right, within a culture. So I think that's a really great strategy that you've implemented here. Has your staff had a chance to do this yet?
They have done, we've actually got to the first face-to-face meet. So they haven't done the follow-up yet. That's the next step that they're going to be working on.
Great. Because the sketchnoting too, is that a practice that people at your school site are using, or is that new to them?
This is all new. We're doing a blended teacher leader cohort this whole year. It's our first cohort. And that's one of the things that we're doing in there, along with Flipgrid and all kinds of cool tech tools that we're integrating. And we're kind of not like saying, here, do a sketch note. This is awesome. We're more like, here's an activity, and we're just kind of sneaking it in there. So that they're experiencing it. And then they're like, oh, I like this. How do I do this? And then that's where we can go into more depth. Because, just to give teachers one more thing is a lot. So we're trying to
it is so true. And you let them do it during the time that they're supposed to be there doing the class, right? So how else are people supposed to learn this stuff unless we give them time to explore the tools. And so professional leading it in that way as an administrator or a coach or a teacher leader with the purpose really creates a 21st century learning experience for the adult learners, which is the best way to help people reimagine their own teaching in this way. In fact, if you'll notice in this course alone, we try to do that quite a bit. We tried to create HyperDocs that you would go through, and as a student, as you completed the homework assignments. When we present at Google Summits, we have kind of like a flow that we do. So any of you who go out there and want to share the HyperDoc word, our first presentation is experiencing a HyperDoc as a student. And so we usually take an hour or so to really get people creating and collaborating together in that way first. So this is wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Do you have anything you want to add?
No, that's it. It was a lot of fun to do.
Wow. Well, it's very impressive, and it's very exciting to just see all of that packed into one little explore, explain, apply professional development HyperDoc. It's so great. And thank you for creating your slide. It's so cute with your family and everything. And thank you for presenting, Mary.
Thank you.
I just want to give a shout out to one of our presenters.
Can you just
Beth?
add her? She's getting a piece late.
I keep adding our friend Beth to our live hangout, but she's not able to get in. So Beth, I'm just going to send it one more time and then keep me posted. Hopefully we'll get you in.
We're just pausing. It gives you some time to look through. We go so fast through these weeks. So it gives you some time to look at some of the links. Everyone shared. I loved how you even put so much on the slides. Very helpful. So it's take a minute and then we'll hopefully get Beth. But in the meantime, we'll go to our next presenter and we'll just keep working on it, Beth. We're still trying.
Beth, we are going to get you in here. Don't worry. I just sent it one more time, so I'm hoping to see your little face pop up soon.
And we send it to her Gmail account.
To Gmail, yeah.
Not her.
I'm wondering if it's because we're recording live.
Oh. Well, I thought you could still hop in live.
Yeah, you can.
You can still hop in once you're live. So
yeah.
Also, Beth, let me give you a little heads up. We have this HyperDoc ShareFest document that we shared with you that Sarah emailed out this weekend to you.
We emailed her that one.
And that link should get you in also. So just a little heads up.
I emailed it to her Gmail account.
Okay. All right. So let's move on. Thank you, Mary. We have another amazing creator, and we're going to hear from our friend, Joanna. I kind of started talking about her last week because she's the one who just like shared so much already by the second week of the course. So Joanna is on slide 5, and she has shared with us this adorable picture of she and her daughter in front of, I can't see, it's covering, what does it say, Joanna? Oh, in front of the Eiffel Tower last spring. Very cool. She teaches basic art, ceramics, and photography. And she has an amazing HyperDoc she's going to share with us. Welcome.
Hi. Oops. Sorry, dogs heard me.
Okay. It's real life here happening. Thanks for being here.
So I got inspiration from Mary's slide, so I added pictures of my family too because hers was so cool. So I had to do that. But I guess I'll just share my I remember how to do that. Share my HyperDoc. So application window. Oops, wrong.
We can always share too if you get.
I think I just had the application window. Wrong thing. Okay. HyperDoc. Oh, there's the application window. Oops, wrong.
We can always share too if you get.
Okay, I got it. I just had the application window.
I'm just going to mute the welcome.
Okay.
Go ahead, Joanna.
Okay. Well, so I kind of this is for my photography class, and we're going into the chapter of photojournalism, and I'm trying to convert all the chapters basically into HyperDocs. Everything I have, I've had. like we started with our Google Classroom, and I was posting everything in the Google Classroom, having to watch videos and all that stuff. And this is just convenient. So now I have the material, and it's easy for me kind of put it into the HyperDoc, which makes it really convenient for me and the students, easy to find they're doing each day or however it works. So this photojournalism is basically, will take about 2 weeks to do, in my thoughts. First thing, I started the lesson today, so it was part of it, and I just told the students to look at it, and what do they think right away? Just don't even read anything, just look at it. I need some words back. And they said that they really liked it compared to my other ones I've created because it shows them one side what to do, what to learn, and the other side what to do. And this was one of the hardest ones for me to create so far because I'm like linear, flow down, and kind of like go that way. And everything. I did say watch and answer, really big and bold with little pictures, but they still couldn't get it. So this is one side learn and one side answer, I guess. So we have the explore, the explain, and in here we got the videos, and then if they have time to watch, they have this extended learning video. Is really good, but for me as a teacher, but maybe not so much for them. But if they finish stuff and they're like, I'm done, I'm like, did you watch that video? They're like, no. Okay, watch that video. So that's like for the ones that don't say they were done with everything. And then as I went down, like explain, I always had like my slideshows that I was always talking, which I'll go over and explain the slideshow. And then I have my textbook images for each chapter that I'm applying in there. And then on the task is just a Google form, which all the vocab words are in it. So they have to start answering vocab words. And then applying, so, and all the stuff was in my textbook. It's nothing like I came up too much of myself. But it was, one of the apply questions in the back was, create a truthful photograph that communicates what lunchtime really is. So photojournalism, their job is to take one photograph with it. And then afterwards, we'll post on the padette. Am I talking too fast? And then I wanted them to write what lunchtime is truly like. And then here, as I went down, like journal connections, still in the book, but it was before in the book was find magazine pictures and write captions for them. So I just thought that they might have seen in their textbooks, important pictures of our times, and then they've linked to the photos, and it gives an article about the photos, and then they have to write the caption for it. So your basic questions that you're asking. So then and I think this will be easier for me to grade too, because everything's really right there in front of my face rather than having 15 tabs open, going to a padette, going here, going there each time. Mm-hmm. And then independently, this is where they would they have to go out and take photographs of their subculture or something where they're telling a story with their photographs. And then I have some questions. And the idea is they want to show their family or friends these photographs and see if they can recognize what they're talking about by the photographs. So, and when I first made that, this did not have any little pictures. And when I added all the little pictures, it just looked so much fun. I want to do it myself.
I feel like you're saying everything we say when we talk about HyperDocs, and she's just sticking it in with your presentation. Like you started with having so many links in different places that you put into your Google Classroom. And then when you put it all packaged into one place, now your students can understand your own lesson flow, and it's easier for you to grade because you can go back and see all the steps that they've taken. And talk about like an incredible accommodation for many of our learners with maybe executive functioning, who need organization, who need to review the content again. Everything is right there for them to go back. Additionally, having the blend built in here. You're sharing how you went straight to your textbook and you got the good questions, the examples, but putting it here just kind of like helps to elevate the learning because that connected to other activities like now go outside and take your own pictures and define take one photo that would define what lunchtime is like. So how it all connects together is really personalized in that way.
Trying to get, they always get throw back on that lunch. Well, we just sit there with my friends. I'm like, well, take a picture of it. Maybe it'll be better this year. I don't know. So, and then I guess like towards the end, they do their study and then they start reflecting, right? And then I like the fact now that in my other art classes, having the padette and other ways that they can share it, I think they're going to take more ownership of the art because people are actually going to look at it rather than me taking it, hanging up in the school somewhere where no one looks at it now. And then they go to the padette, they upload it, and now they're critiquing on the padette of other people's art. And it's kind of really exciting and fun seeing them like, oh, wait, people are looking at this? Oh, yeah.
I feel like
making it fun.
That comment from you also, right? We say that all the time. They love to create things, but when they just make something and turn it into you, no offense, but that's not too exciting to just get feedback from their teacher. So that's exactly why Sarah and Lisa and I, when we sat down and we designed the HyperDoc template lesson design model, we said every single time you should think about how your students can share their work with other students within the classroom beyond just their teacher, because that's how you elevate the work that they actually produce for you. That's how they get more buy-in for it.
Definitely. And at the end, they're all like creating I don't know, I went to something else this summer, but I found like the idea of, so if my photographers are creating a website to make a portfolio, because I never figure out how they can make a nice looking portfolio to share their art rather than like a binder of their photographs. So now they're able to do this, and that's where the sharing and the website is gonna be part of it this year. And I'm working on that with my art class too, where they take photos of their art and sharing everything to make a portfolio. I think that's kind of cool, fun way. And I guess, and then their one photo they're sharing. So sometimes it gets confusing for them, but they're learning more and more of how my brain works and be able to go through this and see. And then they really like this one. And then at the end, reflect, just looking at the code of ethics for photojournalism, and then writing about that, which basically on the other side, the task is the photojournalist's DOK, the depth of knowledge questions that I have for each chapter that they have to go through. And the code of ethics is one of the things that they ask them to look at and write what a photojournalist should remember. And then at the very end, it's my rubric. So our whole school, they want us every assignment, everything, well, not every assignment, but everything to have a rubric and a proficiency standard. So that's it. So students can look at what I'm expected to give, what they should do to get a 4. And I want them reflecting on what grade I should give them. So they have to grade themselves and figure that out. So that's what, and everyone ends with that rubric and grading themselves.
Wow, very powerful.
So I think that's my, oh, they're stopped sharing. Okay, there. Okay, so there's my HyperDoc.
Okay.
It was fun to work with, and I think I like this template the best. Started with the 3, explain, apply, and explore, and I just added the other things I needed in there to make it what I needed.
Right, right. That's what it's all about, to make it work with your class and with your students. And it sounds like the first 2 examples that we've looked at today, that linear table, so students know like we're going to do an exploration today and then come back and do the next step. I'm curious about something, since you have used some of this already. Do you feel like when you have built this and then you go in and you're thinking about your teaching, you don't have to do your lesson planning because you already know where you're going. It's already built on the doc, right?
Yes.
When the students come in and it's time to start the day, do you typically bring everybody back together, whole group, and like pull up the HyperDoc again and kind of reference, here's what we did yesterday, here's what I want, where I want you to go today?
I do that every single day. So I start out with, okay, yesterday we did this, this, and this, and or I'll say you already done, and I will go through everything already as we go through each day. And then in the Google Classroom, I have the HyperDoc, and then I have like a calendar, what they should be doing each day in the Google Classroom. Just like 10:23, you did explore. 10:24, you're doing explain. And that's there, and then I have it written on the board too, a couple places. So when people come in late, it kind of helps them. And then at our school, we have a independent study crew, like our skiers that go away for months during the wintertime. I live in Lake Tahoe, so we have a lot of skiers. We have national athletes at our school that are gone forever. In this class, I have one. She's already been gone to school. We started in September, right? First week of September. She's already been gone 3 weeks of school. So, but she's doing this at home and on her trips, and she's getting it all done. And it really helps with those few students that are never at school because they can see everything, link to everything.
Right. So that distance learning
is really, really helpful.
Yeah. That's great.
So, yeah.
So
Thanks.
Gina, shared one of her HyperDocs today, but she actually has been looking at her entire year, and she shared with me her unit where she's really going through and HyperDocking her entire curriculum for the year. So that is a work in progress, which is amazing. And of course, the beauty of being able to easily modify them from year to year to study your learners because the directions are there and change it up. But having a starting point would be a great place to start. Thank you so much for sharing, Joanna, and for all your participation. So now I would like to welcome our friend, Beth, who I'm glad you made it. Welcome, Beth. It's so nice to meet you. I'm going to unmute you, or I guess you have to do that. If you go ahead to the top of your screen.
I've got it. Thank you.
Good, good. Welcome, Beth. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Nice to meet you. Thank you for your patience and for your persistence to get in. We were just trying to work it all out. So we're glad you made it. I just want to go through your slide and introduce you a little bit. So I'm going to screen share that before we start. Beth shares with us that she's an instructional technology coach in New Kent County Public Schools, Southeastern Virginia. And so, wow, she taught elementary school for 9 years in Japan in Newport, Virginia, in an urban district. So we are excited to hear from you, and we can't wait to see your HyperDoc. If you want to follow along, she's linked it there on the bottom. And this HyperDoc is about Chrome and Chromebooks 101. So tell us about your process, Beth, and about your HyperDoc.
Okay, well, I'm excited to be here tonight, and I am, I'm sorry, hold on a second. There we go. Nope. Cancel. Doing this wrong. Sorry. There we go. Okay, there I am. Hi, everybody. I'm excited to be here tonight, and I am like it said on the slide, I'm an instructional technology coach in New Kent, Virginia, which is about 30 miles or so north of Williamsburg, just to give you a little bit of an idea if you know where that is. And it is a very rural district. 3 years ago, they went to one-to-one. So this is their third year of being one-to-one, but they've never had a full-time instructional technology coach. And last year they didn't have anybody because they posted the job for full-time and they couldn't find anybody to fill the position. So what I have found is that they really need a little bit of what I'm calling Chromebook 101. So I'm starting a series of workshops starting at the end of the second Friday and the second Thursday and Friday in November, where I'm going to really talk about just some basic Chromebook things, some shortcuts, because a lot of the teachers will say, I don't like the Chromebook, but I think it's because they really haven't been trained. So my HyperDoc is called Chrome and Chromebook 101. Is this showing up the way it's supposed to?
We just see you right now.
Okay, hold on just a second. Hold on just a minute. Sorry.
No problem.
Okay. I need to go back here and share my screen. Sorry. Oh, I hope I didn't disconnect myself.
No, we still see you.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Excellent. So,
and if you want to, I could always share it too if you're.
Okay.
needing that, just let me know.
It's not what I'm seeing right now is not giving me an option to share my screen. I don't know what my Chromebook is doing.
Share it. I got it here. And that way we'll get to see you and your amazing HyperDoc at the same
well, there you
There
go.
we go.
Well, okay. So at the very top of it, I think a lot of teachers don't even really know what Chrome OS is and how this came to be. So at the top of it, I've got links to a video and to an article, depending on how they'd prefer to learn, or if they're really interested, they can click on both, about how Chromebooks came to be. And then they can either watch a video about Chromebooks, or they can read an article, and then they can watch a video about the Chrome OS, or they can skim through really the Wikipedia article. And then I have a little area down here for them to talk about how it's kind of a KWL, a little bit of that. 3 things I knew, 2 things I've learned, and 1 thing you want to know more about. And so I've got that down there. And then the next section of it is actually going to be more of like a direct instruction section. And I'm going to talk to them about different keyboard shortcuts. And I'm starting with ones that I think they probably already know, which is the Control C, Control X, Control V, Control Z, Control Y, which is redo. But then we're going to get into some of the ones that are like, how do you make caps lock work on a Chromebook, which is totally different than anything on a Windows-based machine. That if you are on a website and you click CTRL and Control and F, it'll help you find specific text on that page. So just some different kinds of things that that they can actually do with the Chromebook that they may not know, or it's not really intuitive because it's not exactly the same as Windows. And then we're going to talk a little bit about keyboards and trackpads and shortcuts, and how to, if you 2-finger tap, that'll open up the right. I just actually did that on my machine. If you 2-finger tap or click, it'll open up the right click menu. 3 fingers down, what it does, 3 fingers left or right. And so at the very end of it then, and this is going to be about a 45-minute workshop, and this is not higher order thinking. It is not really deep. It really is very introductory. And so I'm going to have them, they can click a link to go to a Minute to Win It Google form, where they have to sort of like recall or go back and forth and put in the keyboard shortcuts. And I've got that whole thing is actually verified. They have to, it's a verified text. So if they have to put in the correct answer to be able to go on, so it's going to be very timed. And then the very last thing I have is a linked document for them to put in that has 3 different columns that they can and this one is a shared document, so that they would all be putting their information in at the same time, so that they would talk about the coolest tricks that they will use to amaze their students and friends. And then the next column is some things that they already knew. And then one thing that I still wish the Chromebook would do, because I think I find a lot of times that the teachers are like, well, I wish it would do this. Well, actually it does do that. So, so that gives me an idea of what they want to learn. And then I can go back and say, well, actually it does do this in here. And like the one I put in there is that I wish Google would put a feature in where if you're in a table and you want to split a particular cell, you could do that, and you can't do that in right now. And so that's something that, so if they find a feature that they'd really like that it doesn't do, I'll be able to just say me too, and then we'll all know that you still can't do that. So I think it's going to go well. I think that this will be very eye-opening for a lot of teachers, because the kids all use the Chromebooks, but I think a lot of them don't know a lot of these keyboard shortcuts and tricks and things that will make just the whole functionality of the Chromebook a lot easier.
Wow, this is awesome. Thank you. I'm just like pondering on your reflection and sharing how strategic the questions are, right? So you quickly get this formative assessment, like the coolest trick, some things I already knew. That's a great question. And what I wish they would still do. That's really fun. And then all the teachers will reflect there. And I'm still looking at just these shortcuts. Like myself, I always work on an Apple computer. And then when I work in a classroom, I find myself like running around and asking the other kids about the shortcuts. So this is really beneficial. And I think you're right. I mean, Chromebooks can do so much. So in 45 minutes, you'll be able to accomplish so much.
Right, exactly.
That you could potentially use this in a classroom too, like introducing students to, hey, we just got a new Chromebook cart, and now we're going to spend a little time talking about how to use it, I guess,
Exactly. And I've made a little cheat sheet, I guess I can call it, just a little sign that everybody who comes to the workshop will get this. And it's very colorful, very bright, very Google colors, but it has like all of the keyboard shortcuts on it. I saw somebody, I think her name was Carly Mora, and she had done something like this, and I just sort of extended it, added a few additional things to it that I think my teachers would find helpful. And I have a feeling I'm going to see a lot of those up on bulletin boards in classrooms, and the teachers telling the kids, well, go look over there, and that will tell you, the keyboard shortcuts that you can use. And so I think it will be really helpful. I'm excited about it, and we're just going to continue on every Thursday and Friday until winter break, doing a different topic. Like we're going to do Google Drawings. Hopefully we'll get to Google Sites. I'm not sure we'll get that far, but just sort of to really give them a primer in the Chromebook and Chrome OS, and we use Schoology, just like our first presenter talked about. But I want them to just feel comfortable with it, because if they're comfortable with it, then they will be much more likely to ask their students to be using it in more of a, well, I'm going to hand the PowerPoint out to you and I want you to follow along. And that's right now, because they just haven't had a huge amount of training. That's kind of where they are right now. And we definitely need to move that bar.
Yeah. I think that's great, having like your workshops kind of align with potential anchor charts that are printed out and put up in the classroom is creating kind of a common digital language at your school site. So that's really helpful. When you were talking about what you wish the tool would do too, it reminded me about how on Google Classroom, there's that little question mark at the bottom. And if you ever click there, you can give Google feedback on what you wish Google Classroom would be able to do. And they actually, when they make the updates, they look for patterns in that. And I believe it's the same on Google Docs as well. So you could always hop on that help part of the toolbar and then give some feedback on what you wish that you could do within Docs.
I have done that about the cells, because I use tables all the time, and I've done that about the cells and the tables. And so I'm encouraging all of my teachers to also ask that same question, because enough people, and it would be really wonderful if they would do that. So,
right.
Because it's great to get to the very end of a table and you realize I really needed 3 on this. I needed 3 cells on this row, and I only have 2, and it's like, oh, it's a do-over now. So. But one day they'll get it. They'll get there.
Yeah. I was just going to say, like, raise your hand if you love tables. We love the tables too.
Oh, yeah. I like the structure. So, yeah.
The structure. Yeah. So these have been really great. Beth, thank you so much for sharing. And we really appreciate your participation and willingness to log on in the evening here and share your amazing work. So thank you. So that is our 3 special guests for today. And with that, that leaves us with a couple other things to just reflect on. Are there any questions that are in the chat?
No, I've been asking, and everyone's just real quiet today, listening in.
Okay, good. Well, we do want to mention that we're always here. I know that it's the fall and it's October, and everyone who signed up for the course, it was very brave to take something on in the fall when you're doing, for us, it's first quarter report cards and things like that. But we are here to continue to support you. But there's some final steps to the course as well on that last slide. So I'm just going to quickly share those with you as we wrap it up here. The first one is if you would like to receive a certificate of completion, we've linked up a Google form that once you complete everything there, then you'll get an email sent to you that will have the updated certificate of a completion. The little elves. I feel like you guys are little elves here.
I just
Lisa's over here updating the form for our cohort. Yep. And basically, you can go ahead and share that with your district or with your administrator who might have potentially funded your participation in our course. Or you could just put it in your professional development file. Another thing is some people are interested in earning graduation credit. And so what we'll need to do is go ahead and have you fill this out. We have the names of the people who originally signed up, but if you're still interested, please let us know here. And we will make sure that somebody from EdTech team will reach out to you for your graduation credit. So the next to do is to just acknowledge that this is not the end of the course. We actually have one more week after today. So what you can do is go ahead and continue to work on your HyperDoc. And our goal is that our guests who shared today might have helped inspire you and give you some more ideas to add to your own HyperDoc. But when you look at the scope and sequence, it says, here we go, off you go, October 23rd. But then when you hop onto your group document, I'm just going to let you see this here. You can go ahead and see the due dates are all along the top here. So October 30th is the final day to go ahead and link up your homework and your final HyperDoc. If you have questions before then, the three of us are there to help you problem solve and work on that for another week. Be sure to look along on that Google Doc and give your other people in the cohort feedback, or hop on some other cohorts and give feedback to them as well. We would really like to ask everyone to please give us some feedback on our course. So we've linked up the course evaluation here from EdTech team. And if you have any feedback for us, we actually go through these pretty regularly, and we like to revise the course a little bit based on what people share there. And then there's two optional things here. One is that Lisa talked about this last time, and it was a little bit about the power of these customer reviews on Amazon, and how if you have a review for our handbook, since you've gone through it with 4 weeks and the course, if you have an Amazon review, please feel free to add that onto our Amazon review page for us. And finally, we have a final HyperDoc to reflect on. It's called the Off You Go Chapter 4 HyperDoc, using one of our HyperDoc templates designed. It's called the Reading Writing Workshop template. And we kind of have some responses and questions for people to go through there. So all of that will wrap up the end of the course. And then if you want to learn more, we will be having another HyperDoc Bootcamp in January. In January, we need to change this out. It says October, but that's okay. That's where we're at right now. But we will start this again in January. And you can also follow along and look at what EdTech team is offering. If you feel like you enjoyed the HyperDoc online course, EdTech team is offering courses for a lot of the books that they're selling, and for other custom online courses. So you can take a look at all of these. We linked those on the presentation slides for you. But even now, if you click on that image, it'll take you to more courses. Another thing too is when you go to our HyperDocs website, we always have under Learn More PD opportunities is where we keep updating this. So once we have our January image, we'll put that up and we'll invite people to go ahead and take the next cohort that way. Another thing we want to just make sure that you know is out there, we've talked about it a lot tonight, is Teachers Give Teachers on Twitter. As Lisa mentioned, we have over 10,000 followers, 10,000.6. So that is amazing. And so the first one says, teachers pay teachers who? Teachers now sharing their talent and resources for free, igniting others to innovate their practice. So really amazing. I mean, just take a look as I scroll down right now at the design, and then there's conversations that happen, like where people connect. If you feel like you're on an island somewhere and you don't know, you're looking for other teachers who teach the same thing as you do, this is a great place to go as well. So make sure you check out that Twitter page. If you're not someone who loves to go onto Twitter, another happening page is the Facebook group. Okay, we have 24 people who are asking to join the group right now. That's how active this group is. It's pretty amazing. So I will, you know, add all those group members. It's kind of being slow right now, so I'll come back to that. But really the discussion is the important part here. Let me approve all, and then I'm going to go to the discussion so that you can see. We have, the first thing is Lisa was sharing about our class. But if you just look down here, what's nice about Facebook is the conversation is a little bit longer. There's not the 140 characters. And so people are just asking questions and having conversations here as well. So we encourage you to join that. And for those of you who love Google+, we always give a huge shout out to our friend Steve Wick. He's right here. He, on his own, created a Google+ community and said, hey, ladies, can I just help manage it? And I mean, I can't even believe how much is on here. Every time I open it up in this world, there's 1,574 members here talking about HyperDocs. So there's definitely several places to look and share. Of course, Lisa mentioned Teachers Give Teachers, but I just want to help you know how to register too. In order to log in to give one, you can register by just using your Google account. So create an account and you would just click log in, username, and when it asks for your username and password, you don't even have to create them. You can just click here with login with Google. And all of a sudden, you're going to be logged in to the website, okay? And then what's really great is once you're there, and if you want to give one, as Lisa mentioned, let's say you finished your HyperDoc today that you wanted to share. And let's say I just made a reading HyperDoc on close reading. I might give a description. This is sort of like a Google Doc in here. And then I can add the address, copy and paste it right here, and link the text that I might want to have. But this tag section is really important. So once I have that, I might put things like close reading. There's 87 other HyperDocs that have that tag. I might put 7th grade. I just need to put a space in between. And I can keep adding tags for everything that I think people would look for when they come to Teachers Give Teachers. That way, when you're ready to go take one, if I put in close reading, there should be 87 different HyperDocs now that pop up that give me some ideas. So that's how it works. And feel free to just hop on there and do what you can. We also have our Pinterest boards. These Pinterest boards are really why, I think Lisa mentioned this last week, we didn't really talk about tools in our book because the tools will always be changing. So what we do is update these Pinterest boards so that people can see our new favorite tools that you can use. So that's linked here. Our YouTube channel has some a lot of our presentations that we've given online. So if you want to see some more presentations or get some more resources, Teachers Give Teachers channel has that. And one of my favorite is the Hangouts on Air. This was before we were teaching the course, to be honest, and it's sort of like what we did today. It's just in a shorter dose. So if you are, say, a history teacher, then we encourage you to watch episode 3 with Kendra because she shares all of her history HyperDocs. Or if you're a 4th grade teacher, watch episode 2 with Sean. So all of these, and there's Carly Mora, who was mentioned earlier today. We actually interviewed her. She's probably our #1 HyperDoc promoter and an amazing supporter. So all of that is on there as well. So that is the last thing. Basically, we want to thank you guys for HyperDocking with us and for collaborating. We will still be here for another week or so. Want to really give a shout out to our guests again today. Yes. Lisa, thanks for monitoring the chat. Sarah?
It has been great. We love working with you guys. So we're still here for another week, though, so we'll keep chatting.
We'll keep chatting. Sarah, do you want to say anything? Just a
I just want to appreciate those of you that are brave enough to put your work out there and ask for feedback, and just really modeling that practice for our students. I think sometimes we ask our kids to do that, like do peer revising and do all that work. And we don't do it often enough as educators because it is scary. And so I just want to appreciate our teachers who were willing to do that. That's really where the growth comes in. So thank you so much. We all learn from each other, and we learned from you this week. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, from Pleasanton, California, we are signing out, but we hope to see you on the docs, and thank you so much for participating.
Take care.
Take care.